India is an adventurous paradise. You head out for a holiday, which quickly turns into a survival situation. A dream turns into a nightmare.
I'm thirsty, I'm tired, I'm hungry, and I'm lost.
Shelter, water, and food become a priority. A fire to keep you warm. But how? I'm Chandan Lahiri from OTA Survival School. I'll give you some tips and show you some tricks to use in a self-reliant situation. Do not think problems can only happen to other people. It can happen to you. There are a couple of things that I need to be careful about when heading out into the desert. And that's snakes, scorpions, insects, lack of water, dehydration, thorns, blisters, so many things that can become a medical emergency. So when you're heading out into areas which are alien to where you live, outside of your city life, wherever it is, I'm going out into the desert for instance, you need to pack accordingly. And particularly first aid. Because when you're in the desert, there are certain kinds of exigencies that you might face. It's hot. You will get thirsty. There's not too many water holes around. And you might get dehydrated. There are lots of prickly trees, thorns. So you will get pierced, stung. You need to be careful on how to pack your first aid kit. And it is first aid. It is enough to stabilize you, take care of the immediate problem, head back into civilization for proper medical intervention. Obviously, first aid is not going to help if you've got a compound fracture or you've fallen down from a cliff and you've got exposed bones or you're bleeding profusely. But what you can do is stabilize yourself or members of your group if you're traveling in a group. Stabilize them. But for minor emergencies, cuts, bruises, insect bites, filtering water for instance, diarrhea, you can get into fever for instance, carry some basic medical equipment. Carry a fever strip, it's a small little thing, and carry the one that doesn't break. Because if you carry your first aid kit, first you'll be a lot more comfortable knowing that you have the gear and equipment to take care of little niggles. And in case those niggles do happen and you know how to use the stuff that is in your first aid kit, life will become so much easier. So don't underestimate the importance of first aid. We don't often need it at home because we don't often fall sick, we don't often cut ourselves, bruise ourselves, have broken legs, sprained ankles. Even if a sprained ankle happens at home, help is nearby. Hobble to your car, get into a doctor, have an x-ray done. But an ankle sprain, if it happens out here, you'll need to take care of it yourself. There's no doctor around. You'll need to stabilize that ankle, come back to your car or to the closest public transport system and head back to a medical facility. That's the amount of time that you will need to take care of yourself. Do not underestimate the importance of first aid. And we are weekend adventurers, we are day hikers, going out into the outback once in a while, maybe once a year, twice a year. I don't think we are adept, certainly I'm not, to read plants for medicinal values. If you know how to read plants, so much the better. You'll need to carry less equipment in your first aid kit. But for most of us who are day hikers, we don't know how to read medicinal plants. And if we don't know how to do that, the easiest alternative is to carry a strip of tablets, carry a crepe bandage, carry a fever strip, carry things like that in your first aid kit. And more importantly, pack your first aid kit dependent on the location that you're heading out. First aid is a requirement that happens very often. Band-aid, you will need Band-aid. And things like these, small niggles, they can happen to you. Learn to adapt, improvise, innovate, and overcome. To learn more tips and tricks, visit this site. I'm Chandan Lahiri, and I hope to see you soon at the OTA Survival School. Leave nothing but footprints. Bring back nothing but memories.